Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today our movie in the middle is Scream 6. But honestly, I don't think the ghost face in this one is actually that great. It kind of sucks a little bit, if you know what I'm... Hold on. Hello?
Hello, Matt.
Who is this?
What's wrong? Are you scared? Do you like scary movies?
Huh?
Well, I have a scary movie idea for you. It's called Murder in the Middle.
Classic.
Is the latest in the Scream franchise and the sequel to the requel.
Hello?
Hello, Matt.
How did you get this number?
Oh, I've been following you for a while now, and I have a question for you. Do you like scary movies?
Just don't answer the phone.
That follows the new...
Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today our movie in the middle is Scream 6. Scream 6 is the latest in the Scream franchise and the sequel to the requel that follows the new gang of characters as they once again face the terror of Ghostface, who has now followed them all the way to New York. It stars among a huge cast of people: Melissa Barrera, Jenna Ortega, Jasmin Savoy Brown, Mason Gooding, Hayden Panettiere, and Courtney Cox. So starting off with the highs, the characters. They really stepped it up in this one, and I mean every single one of them. Most of them were really great in the first one, like Scream 5 as it was, like all these new characters. But in this one, we know them a little bit deeper, and having gone through everything in Scream 5, we can connect with them and empathize with them a little bit more, especially Melissa Barrera, who honestly, she was my only low from the first one, really, that I was like, I'm not really sure about it. I thought her acting was okay. In this one, she really stepped it up, because whereas in like Scream 5, she felt a little bit like 1 foot in, 1 foot out with some situations, in this one, she becomes like a true New Yorker, man. She is like fighting people. She is talking back. She is like, we gotta get out of here. She has like a full character arc of trying to protect her sister, and like the whole sister dynamic was so good in this. I loved them. They're both really, really great in this, especially Jenna Ortega. Of course, she's awesome. But I love their dynamic in this. I just love watching their relationship. And just the gang in general. Like, you know that they're a close-knit group when, you know, you start to call them the gang.
Best friend squad!
But I really, really loved them in this one because, again, it's kind of the survivors of the last one who are like, we've been through this before, and it's sort of like the main four from the very original Scream, and now we kind of have that new generation of them, which is just really, really cool. And you feel for them. And you're like scared. You legitimately are scared that something's going to happen to them. Also, the setting, I didn't think that it was going to work. I was like, why would you move it to New York? It's like, you're not going to have all these like quiet, empty spaces for creepy things to happen. But honestly, it worked so well. Almost for the same reason, like the other side of the same coin, because whereas in Woodsboro, it's quieter, there's less people, so creepy things can happen and no one's around to save you. In New York, there's thousands of people around, but they either don't notice or don't care. So it's almost like you're alone anyway. So that was really, really interesting. And I thought the setting worked really well, especially considering now it's like Ghostface has followed them across states. It's like no one's safe. Like if you can't even leave the town and be safe. A good example of this is that Sam walks past an ambulance in the street towards the beginning of the movie, and she doesn't even like bat an eye. If they were in Woodsboro, it would be like, oh God, what's going on? Who got hurt? Here it's like, it's New York. There's an ambulance every 3 blocks. You really feel the stakes in this one. Like, not that you don't in others, but in this one, it's like anyone could die. Anybody. And you feel that. It doesn't even feel like there's like main character plot armor, you know? It's like anyone could die, and it's terrifying. And this has to be the most aggressive, most intense, most violent Ghostface yet. And that is saying something, because I said that about the last one, that they're getting more violent and more violent. This one, though, is different because it's more violent, but it's more of the fact that the Ghostface itself, I'm just going to say itself as to avoid spoilers, the Ghostface itself here, you can feel that they're not just being a slasher villain who walks slow and is, you know, going to come up to the character and stab them even though they try to run away. Like, they don't have that sort of armor of just like, I'm the villain, so I'm gonna get to stab you. Like, they are charging. I've always wondered this about slasher villains. Like, why don't they just run as fast as they can? They will be able to catch up to them. And Ghostface has always done this, but in this one, it just charges. The amount of stabbings that this Ghostface does, it's just nuts. You can really feel that it is angry and wants to kill people. It's not just for a show, it's just to murder people. But honestly, probably one of the best parts about this movie is what Scream does so well, is the meta-ness and the twists and turns. There's so many twists and turns in this one that we've never seen before. There are things in this one that we haven't seen in any of the other 5. And the meta humor and the meta take on everything, it worked. I didn't think it was going to work again because I thought after the last one, I said this in my last review, I don't know if they do a 6th one. I don't think it's going to work without being too much or just repetitive. And somehow, I mean, it was a little bit repetitive, but like, you'll understand when you see the specific scene where they're talking about, oh, we're in this and we're doing that again. They did a pretty good job with it. And honestly, they almost kind of set it up for a 7th one to be able to do that as well without being like a retcon or being sort of convenient or being able to just like write up a reason for it. And this one might be the most meta yet, not necessarily in terms of the movie things, that too, but in terms of like addressing every single past Scream movie. If you're going to watch this one, you should watch all the other ones going into it because they reference a ton about every single one of them. It is part of the plot that every single one of them is involved. My only middle, which I can not be too specific about, I have to be very vague, is just about who the Ghostface turns out to be. And it's a middle because honestly it's more of a personal reason than anything else. It was fine for the movie. It totally works. It was just a personal thing for me. I was looking for one thing and they kind of hit me with another thing, but like I said, there was twists and turns with that as well. So honestly, it still was a joy to like try to figure it all out. One other small thing that I want to bring up that's not really like a higher, middle, or low is just the fact that Neve Campbell isn't in this movie, and we knew that going in, but I'm gonna be honest, I thought it was okay. It actually weirdly made more sense. It would have made less sense for them to figure out a reason to write her into this narrative. So I think that coming back for the next one, which I believe she is, will be fine, because in this one, there was enough new characters, there was enough going on that actually we didn't really need her, and it made more sense that she stayed away anyway. So if you think that that's gonna be a problem going in, trust me, it's not. My low is also kind of something I can't really get into. It's going to sound very, very vague. It's mostly just because there are a lot of stakes in this movie. Tons of stakes, and you feel them, and there are some very intense scenes. And, like, I was on the edge of my seat for a lot of this movie. There's just something a little bit dissatisfying about that. All I'll say is there were some things that they could have done that they chose not to do. I do have one other really, really small one. It's an aspect about Gail's character that I didn't really love at all. I thought it was kind of a regression on her character, something that they wrote in about her. Although it does go away pretty quickly and isn't really brought up that much again. So I can, like, give it a pass for that. But it was something where I was just like, really? You're doing that with her? So overall, without being too specific, because I can't really say much else without giving things away or implying things, this was one of the best Screams we have had so far, and I think it may, honestly, reach that hype of being the best since the original, which is insane. It's the 6th one, and usually slashers are like hit or miss after the first one or two, and they really go up and down, but they're mostly going downhill. This one was so good, and I think it's the biggest one that we've had since the original, or just in general, and that's saying something. And I don't mean bigger in terms of it just keeps getting bigger and bigger just for show or for effect, because it has to. But it feels like every Scream that we've had up till now has led up to this. And that's what I really, really love about the Scream franchise, is it's really one of the only slasher movies that takes itself so seriously and is genuinely pretty good all the way throughout. Like, even the worst one, no matter what you think it is, even the worst one is better than most other slasher movies, and it's still a pretty solid movie. Guys, if you're a Scream fan, this is like one of the best ones to go see. Please go see this in a theater with a bunch of people. It's so much fun. I'm going to give Scream 6 a 3.5 out of 4. Shout out to the audience that I was with for the screening, because, man, you guys were awesome. It was so much fun. It was like a Marvel movie. People were cheering. People were gasping. It was great. I just gotta say, though, man, the fact that they're calling it Scream 6 and they have the V and the I in the title, which is just so brilliant, makes it that much worse that they didn't do Scream with a 5 for the S. Just why? Why? Well, guys, let me know what you thought of Scream 6. Let me know what your ranking is, because honestly, I thought it was a pretty set ranking for most people until the day I saw it, and two people had the same two opinions about two of the movies that I had never heard before in terms of where they would land. So it could honestly be anywhere. Let me know what your ranking is, because I'm really interested to hear. And as always, keep your hopes high, your stress low, and movies right in the middle. I'll be right back. Or will I?